Okay, hello and welcome to this brief history of medicine. I'm going to call it brief history because that's exactly what it's going to be. If you've watched any of my videos before, you might kind of know my philosophy regarding sort of health and fitness, or have an idea of my philosophy of health and fitness. And I just kind of wanted to get to know it a little bit more. In the way that, where did it come from? Where did it originate from? Where did the germ theory come from? And why is that the held belief today? And why is it not another? Because again, it is just a theory. So I just sort of did a little bit of delving into the sort of the history of pleomorphism is probably the best way to describe it, and a little brief history delve into the history of germ theory as well. And all of that came about in sort of the mid to late 19th century. So that kind of then got me asking, well, what was before that? What sort of medical science or did they use before? And after doing a little bit of digging, I found this called humorism or humoralism. And I just wanted to sort of find out a little bit about this, because this theory, as it says here, is a discredited theory of the makeup of the workings of the human body adopted by the Greek and Roman physicians and philosophers. From Hippocrates onwards, the humoral theory was adopted by the Greeks, Romans and Islamic physicians and became most commonly held view of the human body among European physicians until the advent of the modern medical research in the 19th century. So what that's basically saying is it was a once held belief that is now old, and they've now got another one. That's how I take that one. Now, the four humours of Hippocratic medicine were black bile, yellow bile, phlegm and blood. Now, I don't really know what that means because this is all very new to me as well. I'm literally reading this for the first time. So the four humours. Essentially, this theory held that the human body was filled with four basic substances called the four humours, which are in balance when a person is healthy. All disease and disabilities resulted from an excess or or a deficit of one of the four humours. These deficits could be absorbed by the body. The four humours were black bile, Greeks and Romans, and later the Muslims and Western European medical establishments adopted and adapted the classical medical philosophy, believed that each of these humours would wax and wane in the body depending on diet and activity. So that seems to be saying that they're in balance in the body, but then it was adapted. Sorry, they're in balance when someone is healthy, so they're in balance, and then it became adapted. These humours would wax and wane, so they fluctuate. So where one might go up, one might go down, two might go up, two might go down, or as that sort of pattern goes, I would imagine. So that's kind of what I think that says. When a patient was suffering from a surplus or imbalance of one fluid, then his or her personality or physical health would be affected. This theory was closely related to the theory of four elements: earth, fire, water and air. Earth predominantly presents in the black bile, fire in the yellow, water in the phlegm, and the four elements present in the blood. So everything's present in the blood, but each of them take up their own thing. Okay, so we're starting to build something here, because pleomorphism is all about the blood, and how, or part of it's about the blood, and how it contains everything. So paired quantities were associated with each. So that's just going through again sort of the philosophy of it all. History. Although modern medical science has thoroughly discredited human, the wrong-headed theory dominated medical thinking until the middle of the 20th century. Until at least the middle of the 20th century, and in certain ways continues to influence modern-day diagnosis and therapy. So it was a once-held belief, but there are still elements of it that they're using today. So there are some truths in it. So where it's been discredited and germ theory sort of taken over, it still has some elements that they see as truths, we could say, in there. So origins. The concept of before humans originates from ancient Egypt, Mesopotamia, though it is not systematized until Greek thinkers, Swedish physicians, so Greek medicine. So just going on. Greek medicine is one usually credited with applying this idea to humorism, or the doctrine of the four temperaments, as a medical theory retained its popularity for centuries, largely through the influence of the writings of Galen. Okay, so it was able to keep going through this guy here, so we'll have to go and look at him another time. And was decisively replaced only in 1858 by Rudolf Virchow's newly published Theories of Cellular Pathology. While Galen thought that humans were formed in the body and rather than ingested. Okay, now we're getting somewhere, because this guy, that relates to pleomorphism in the fact that it's formed in the body rather than ingested, so it's from within rather than from without. So that he believed that different foods had varying potential to be acted upon in the body to produce different humours. Okay, so again, that's kind of fits with it as well, the fact that different foods have a different effect on the body. I guess that's what that's saying. Warm foods, for example, tend to produce yellow bile. See, this is where it would be on its own with regards to the yellow bile and the phlegm. Seasons of the year, blah blah blah. Imbalances. Okay. So we see there are elements. So Islamic from mixture of four humours in different weights, God the Most High created different organs. One with more blood, like muscles, one with more black bile, like bones, one with more phlegm, like brain, and one with more yellow bile, like lung. Okay, so that's sort of there too. In general, there are four types of proper spirit. One is brutal spirit residing in the heart. Okay, I don't really know how that fits to it. Influence and legacy. Let's have a look at this. Okay, typically 18th century practices such as bleeding a sick person or applying hot cups to a person were in fact based on the humour theory. Okay, Ben Johnson wrote humour plays where types were based aimed at expelling other methods used. Humour counter symptoms of disease. For instance, people who had fever and were sweating were considered hot and wet, therefore substances associated with cold and dry. Right, okay. Right, so that sort of tells me that it was held for, centuries due to wherever he's gone, this Galen guy, but it also holds principles, as does sort of the pleomorphic theory of medicine, in the fact that it's formed from within rather than without, plus the fact that they wax and wane, so they're sort of equilibrating themselves and dynamic. Like there's a sort of a dynamic flexibility with regards to if one goes up, one comes down, and then that pulls the other one down, and another one comes up. So they're always fluctuating to maintain the balance. So that fits with homeostasis and whatnot. So okay, so that's kind of where that came from, and that's kind of interesting. So next we need to go and look at germ theory and how all that came about and why that overtook this one as the theory, because this one was a theory for, well, you're talking a good few thousand years, and then all of a sudden, in the mid-19th century, up comes another theory, and they just go, okay, we'll go with that one. So that's what we're going to look at next. So thanks for watching this one, and I'll speak to you in the next one. Alright, speak to you in the next one. Bye.